When you try to find yourself, you will not find it independent of your constituent cause and conditions. So if you look clearly, if you try to understand clearly, if you experience it clearly, you are basically something that arises due to your indispensable constituent cause and conditions like processes of life, body. You become your actions and you continue in the effect of your actions. This is the theoretical basis of self. And the other notions of the self, like self image as a gender, as a nationality, as a class, caste, race, these notions are artificially defined by the society with the help of artificially created ideas. For some reason, the self image or the ideal self is artificially defined by the society for certain purpose, for certain goals, with some intention uh, for the smooth conduct of affairs of the society or the family, or in order to harmonize you with your surrounding, whether it is natural or artificial. So, self is provisional, constantly changing, and impermanent. The inner self or the outer self or self in any form is neither eternal nor immortal and cannot exist independent of its indispensable constituent cause and conditions. Rather, chronic notion or a feeling of self is stress and burden. Acute stress is necessary in order to adapt to the society, to the environment, to the nature, to the needs of the situation. You become your actions and you continue in the effect of your actions. And whatever feeling of self or the awareness, the consciousness, the watchfulness that you have arises due to processes of life, like breathing, the food you eat, the metabolism that happens in the cells of the brain. This processes of life is something that gives rise to the inner feeling of self, whether it is in form of wakefulness, consciousness, awareness. During meditation, when the body is relaxed, mind is calm, when the processes of life are harmonized, you disappear psychologically and you know that Self is a notion, feeling of being inner self or soul is a hallucination. Eternal, immortal inner self, independent of its indispensable constituent cause and conditions, is a fantasy. In meditation, you come to know that self, in any form, whether it is self image or the ideal self or the eternal self or the body, the mind, or the feeling, is due to conditions and is impermanent. You do not have existence in any form that is eternal, immortal, or permanent. Hence, in order to take care of yourself, you have to improve the conditions of life. In order to improve yourself, you have to act rightly. And in order to continue, you have to create the right effect of your actions. The feeling and notion of self in any form is necessary only acutely. A chronic or eternal idea or a notion or a feeling of inner self, independent of constituent cause and conditions, is unhealthy. Self consciousness or self identification or self association in any form is wrong and indicates some problem in form of physiological stress or psychological burden, just like you become conscious of pain in the body or in some organ system of your body if the body is unhealthy or if there is disorder in the organ system. Just like a healthy person is not conscious of health, so also the individual without unnecessary or chronic stress or unnecessary or chronic psychological burden is not self conscious or identify the self, associate the self with any idea, no self is healthy. Self consciousness is unhealthy. If your digestion is not healthy, you become conscious of it. If there is pain in your knee, you become conscious of it. So, also, self consciousness, notion of self, feeling of self, the ideas about self is unhealthy, and it can mislead the way you live, the way you act, and the way you affect. You arise due to your indispensable constituent cause and conditions. You become your actions, and you continue in the effect of your actions. Hence, you should improve conditions of life. You should act rightly, and you should affect rightly, and create conditions that are good for the effect of your actions, whether it is you, whether it is your children, whether it is your creative art, your creative business, your creative organization, ideas that you create, the impact you have on your surrounding, because you continue in the effect of your actions. Thank you very much.